Go to Google and type Rathod's IAS. Then you can see our website, Rathod's IAS Academy. There you have to click on login or register in the blue color. So if you have not registered yet, you have to click on do not have account and fill the details. So once you have login, click on the courses. There you can see course list. And in this course list, you can see wide range of courses. Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 4th June 2022. So in this lecture, we are going to see some current affairs that I collected from Hindu. So apart from Hindu, we are also going to see some articles from Down to Earth and as well as Indian Express. So it is in combination of Down to Earth, All India Radio and even Hindu and as well as Indian Express. So if time permits, from tomorrow onwards, I am thinking to add at least 1-2 articles from PIB as well, so that there will be comprehensive coverage of current affairs from these 5 sources, that is Hindu, Indian Express, All India Radio, Down to Earth and as well as PIB. Okay, so now let's get started and let us try to see the first topic. So before that, let us try to see today's quote. So today's quote is given by Martin Luther King. So he says that forgiveness is not an occasional act, it is a permanent attitude. So if you are talking about some important values that you need to have as a civil servant and as well as a good person in society, yes, one important value that you need to have here is forgiveness. So here Martin Luther King says that forgiveness, it is not an occasional act. It cannot be like an occasional, but it should be like a permanent attitude within you. So now let us try to see first article. So this article I collected from Down to Earth. Actually this article is very important. So because of this, let us have a discussion and let us try to understand this article, what it is talking about. So here title says better quality of judges, exposure to economic issues, what Niti Aayog funded study of Supreme Court and NG National Green Tribunal orders prescribes. So if you see title, it mainly talking about especially what is the economical impact. So what is the economical impact of certain decisions of Supreme Court and as well as NGT. So here, as you all know, whenever any cases are mainly going to the Supreme Court and as well as National Green Tribunal. So if you're talking about National Green Tribunal, especially cases regarding this environment regarding issues that will be going. So they will be giving their verdict, and after once the verdict is given, so what will be the impact? So that is the thing that we are going to study in this lecture and in this topic especially. So recently one report which mainly released, that is economic impact of select decisions of Supreme Court and National Green Tribunal. Actually this report which mainly submitted to Niti Aayog, and the study which mainly conducted by Consumer Unity and Trust Society. So Consumer Unity and Trust Society, which is mainly came up with this report, and this report which mainly submitted to Niti Aayog, because so this project which mainly commissioned by Niti Aayog itself. So if you're talking about details, it mainly says that, so here this organization, that is CUTS, so Consumer Unity and Trust Society, which mainly studies about economic impacts of various judicial orders. It is mainly studying about what are some economic impacts of various judicial orders, which mainly includes recent 5 environment related major orders or major judgments, which is mainly given by Supreme Court and as well as here National Green Tribunal. So if you are talking about this study, so it is mainly including 5 cases. So which are those 5 cases? So first one is Goa Foundation versus Sesa Sterlite Limited. So I already discussed about this Sterlite case. So it is regarding this copper mining in Tamil Nadu. And next one is Hanuman Lakshman Aroskar versus Union of India. It is regarding airport. And next one is Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board versus Sterlite Industry. And next one is here National Green Tribunal Bar Association versus Ministry of Environment. Actually this Tamil Nadu Pollution Board versus the state of Sterlite Industry, which is mainly talking about this copper mining in Tamil Nadu. Okay, so this case is very much different. That is Goa Foundation versus Sesa Sterlite Limited. And next one here is Vardhaman Kaushik versus Union of India and others. It is regarding NCR construction ban case. So these are some important cases regarding environment. So what are the economic impacts of these judgments regarding these 5 cases? So this recent report which mainly analyzed what are the economic impacts. So it mainly talked about what are the economic impacts due to 5 select environment related court orders. It mainly estimates that about 75,000 persons they were adversely impacted. About 75,000 people they were adversely impacted from mid 2018 to mid 2021, and it is mainly because of restrictive orders related to environment. And the government of India which mainly lost revenue of rupees 8,000 crore from this mid 2018 to mid 2021 because of this ban of these activities. So if this revenue which had been spent as a capital expense, that is for the building of infrastructure in the country, so it might lead to economic returns of about 20,000 crore rupees. And next important thing here is, of this 5 verdict study estimate that about 16,000 people, okay, about 16,000 persons they lost their jobs. So of these 5 verdicts, here study estimated that about 16,000 persons they lost their jobs. An industry which also lost about closely 15,000 crore rupees in revenues, and workers they may lost around rupees 500 crores of income. So this is about impact of these judgments. And now let us try to see next topic. I collected this topic from The Hindu itself. So that is a new spider from Thar desert named after Malayali archaeologist. So these species which are mainly seen in news, that will be very important from your prelims. And recent in this 2022 prelims also there was one question regarding the species which mainly seen in news. So please be focused and please try to make a note of these recently discovered or recently found new species etc. in a separate page, such that you will be having information of 1 year's species news in a one place. That will be helpful for your revision. So here the new spider from Thar desert named Malayali, named after this Malayali archaeologist. So archaeologists or the people they mainly work or study on these spiders. So the new species of spider which mainly discovered in this Thar desert of Rajasthan, and this spider which mainly named after this Malayali archaeologist. So if you are talking about details, so the new species of this jumping spider, the name which is Pseudomogrus sudhi, okay, Pseudomogrus sudhi, and it has been named after this Sudhi Kumar AB, who is mainly the head of Department of Zoology. So if you are talking about the species which mainly seen in the dry grass blades of desert, and there are about 35 species of spiders of this genus they had been discovered worldwide. And if you are talking about details of this spider, so it is like a 4 mm long, and it will be like a dark brown colored head will be there, and here the spider will be covered by very small white hairs, and as well as even in this black eye region as well. So they are mainly having some dark mid longitudinal band, and even female sizes comparatively more than compared to that of a male. Okay, so this is a female that you can see. Okay, so this is a female image. And now let us try to see next topic. It is also collected from this The Hindu. So this topic is about WHO considers declaring monkeypox a global health emergency. So here we need to focus on what is this monkeypox virus and what will happen if once WHO, which mainly considers so or disease as a global health emergency. So these are the points of discussion now. So this topic is important from your science and technology and even health point of view. So if you are talking about context, it mainly says that the WHO, World Health Organization, which mainly convenes an emergency committee, and in this emergency committee they said that there is outbreak of this monkeypox virus, and now it declared it as an global emergency. It is mainly declared as global emergency now. Okay, so World Health Organization, which mainly convenes its emergency committee on Thursday, and it considered that if the spiraling outbreak of this monkeypox is happening, so we need to declare this disease as a global emergency. So if you see details, it mainly says that So whenever any disease which is mainly declared as global emergency or public health emergency, it means this United Nations Health Agency consider this outbreak which is an extraordinary event, and there is a high risk of this disease, and this disease which is mainly spreading fastly in the large number of countries. And it would be also give that monkeypox the same distinction as COVID-19 pandemic and ongoing effort to eradicate polio. So how we are taking steps regarding this ongoing pandemic, and as well as how we are mainly focusing on eradicating of polio. So in the same way, monkeypox also have the same distinction as this COVID-19 pandemic and as well as to eradicate polio. So if we're talking about some facts regarding this monkeypox virus, so it is like a zoonotic disease. So zoonotic means here the disease which mainly transmits from animals to humans, and it mainly identified as a pox-like disease among monkeys. So because of this, the name it is given, that is monkeypox, and it is endemic to Africa, especially Nigeria. So it is mainly caused by monkeypox virus. Actually, this virus which mainly belongs to the member of orthopox virus genus, and they belong to family that is Poxiviridae family, and the natural host of the virus which mainly remains undefined. And animals known to be the source of monkeypox virus include monkey, apes, variety of rodents including rats, mice, squirrels, pariah dogs, rabbits, etc. So these are also important facts regarding this monkeypox virus. So if we are talking about what is this monkeypox virus, here you can see this is the image of this monkeypox virus. Actually, it is mainly seen in some animals like rodents, and whenever there is any bite or scratches or consumption of this bushmeat, so there will be the chance of transmission of this virus from these animals to humans. So because of this, it is called as zoonotic disease. And human to human transmission is also very much possible, but it is very limited. So it mainly happens to sexual contact or the close contact, and even respiratory tract secretions, and even skinless signs. So when the people are coming with all these, yes, there is a chance of transmission of this virus from the human to humans. And if you're talking about symptoms, what will be the symptoms? Here, once you got this monkeypox virus, you will be feeling fever, chills, exhaustion, muscle aches, and as well as illness which mainly lasts from 2 to 3 weeks. Rashes will be seen all over the skin, and back aches, swollen lymph nodes, and as well as intense headache. So these are some important symptoms of this monkeypox virus disease. And what is this public health emergency of international concern? So as per World Health Organization, it mainly says that it is an extraordinary event, and it mainly constitutes a public health risk to other states. Okay, even there might be international spread of disease, and there is also potential that mainly require coordinated international response as well. For example, you can talk about Ebola, Zika virus, H1N1 virus, etc. And if you're talking about what are the implications, so whenever there is declaring of coronavirus as a public health emergency of international concern, yes, WHO which mainly allow for the better coordination of this international response, and we are mainly holding nations which are mainly accountable. Okay, and even we mainly have some restrictions on travel, trade, and as well as quarantine, screening, etc. So these will be the implications whenever any disease which may be declared as public health emergency. So if we are talking about next article, it is about integrated adoption of artificial intelligence data utilization strategy can add $500 billion to India's GDP by 2025 NASCOM. So actually this article I collected from Hindu. So it is presented especially in this economy or business page of today's Hindu newspaper, and you can see the same image there. So if you see the title, it mainly says that integrated adoption of artificial intelligence, and whenever we are focusing on this data utilization strategy, so that will add about $500 billion to our India's GDP. So this is about NASCOM report. So recently we came up with this artificial index adoption index. Artificial intelligence adoption index. So this is very, very important, because here it mainly talking about artificial intelligence and machine learning. So what is the future of this artificial intelligence, and how it is going to contribute for our GDP of our country in future. So because of this article is important from your economy point of view, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. So if you are talking about context, it mainly says that to track sectoral progress of artificial intelligence adoption in the country. NASSCOM, which mainly came up with a report, that is Artificial Intelligence Adoption Index. So if you see details, it mainly says that index was first detailed, it was a first detailed assessment of artificial intelligence adoption trends in India, and it is mainly focusing on 4 important key sectors, that is banking sector, financial services, insurance, and even consumer packaged goods, retail sector, health sector, and even industries and automotives. So these are some important areas which are mainly focused. Okay, so index was the first detailed assessment of artificial intelligence adoption trends in India. So it is mainly focusing on 4 key sectors, that is banking sector, financial services, insurance, and even consumer packaged goods, retail sector, healthcare, industries, and automotive industries. And it mainly said that yes, it is having a lot of future. So here it will contribute about 60% of artificial intelligence potential, and the value will be adding like $450 billion to $500 billion to our country GDP by 2025. So this is according to this NASSCOM in media conference. So it is one of the apex body which mainly focusing on global investment in artificial intelligence. Actually here, so it is a global body which mainly said that global investments in artificial intelligence which had more than doubled over the last couple of years from $36 billion in 2020 to $77 billion in 2021. And in this way I can say yes, there is a massive opportunity for these Indian enterprises to accelerate their investments and adoption of this artificial intelligence to drive equitable growth across sectors. So now there is a one course that is very much famous, that is artificial intelligence and as well as machine learning. So if you are taking that course of artificial intelligence and machine learning, yes, you will be having a good future. And if you're talking about what is the significance, so whenever we are having this type of indices like artificial intelligence adoption index, it will not only provide the necessary benchmark for organizations, and even it will also helps to come up with some key structural changes or key structural steps that need to be taken to realize artificial intelligence potential to the tangible national value. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding India's rivers. They are heating up due to climate change, which mainly shows the study. So this article I collected from this down to at DTE. So what happens? So this article says that so average river water temperature is increasing by 7% in summer 2070 to 2100. So by 2070 to 2100, so in these between these years, yes, the river temperature is going to be increased by 7%. So what is the cause? Cause here is global warming and as well as climate change. Because of this global warming and climate change, there might be increasing of temperature. So this is about this topic in introduction. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. So this topic will be important from your environment and ecology, which mainly comes under your GS paper 3. And now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. First, let us try to see context. So if you see context, it mainly says that climate change may turn India's rivers to hostile environment. So here, because of this climate change, we are seeing there is increasing of global warming. So because of this increasing of global warming, we can see the temperature is increasing. So here, because of increasing temperature, and even there will be increasing of river water temperature as well. So whenever river water temperature is increasing, so environment which is present inside the river, that will not suitable for the aquatic life. So it is one of cause of concern. So because of this, scientists mainly warn that yes, we need to take immediate measures to decrease this global warming and climate change. So river water temperature may increase during the period, and even the dissolved water oxygen level may decrease. So one important correlation between the temperature and as well as dissolved oxygen level is, so whenever there is increasing of this water temperature, okay, during a period of time, so there will be decreasing of this dissolved oxygen. Okay, so this is the data which is mainly published in scientific reports. So if you see details, it mainly says that under high emission scenario, so whenever there is high greenhouse gas emissions, So that will lead to global warming, increasing of global warming. So because of this increase in the global warming, there will be increasing of rise of temperature of these levels. So how much? It is about 7 degrees centigrade. Okay, 7 degrees centigrade, and that is going to reach about 35 degrees centigrade by 2070 to 2100. So if you are talking about dissolved oxygen, it is very much important because, so what are the aquatic organisms which are present in the water? They will be taking oxygen in the form of this dissolved oxygen. So whenever there is decreased amount of this dissolved oxygen, the animals which are present in this environment, they are not going to get proper oxygen. That will lead to suffocation, final death of that so and so organism. So dissolved oxygen levels which can drop to 7.3 milligrams per liter of water from 7.9 milligrams per liter. So because of this, that will lead to increasing of pressure. So for every 1 degree centigrade of rise in temperature, so there will be about 2.3% decreasing of this dissolved oxygen saturation levels. Okay, due to this climate change, we can see there might be decreasing of this dissolved oxygen levels as well. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding globally 78.2 million children, they were out of the school. So it is regarding this UN report. So United Nations report says that globally 78.2 million children, they are out of school. So these children, they are out of school not only because of lack of gadgets or because of this COVID-19, but even there are number of reasons which are mainly contribute for these people who are mainly out of school. So this topic is important from your education point of view, which mainly comes in a GS paper too. And now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that the number of school aged children who are mainly facing crisis, okay, especially countries that are mainly impacted by war like situation, humanitarian crisis. So there is increasing of children who are mainly out of the school. So the number of school aged children in the crisis, they impacted countries who require this educational support has grown to 22 million. Out of this 22 million, about 75 million in 2016, they are out of the schools according to this new report. So if you see details, it mainly says that, so of them about 78.2 million, they were out of the school, and it is mainly due to conflicts, emergencies, and as well as some war-like situation, which is mainly said by this United Nations report. So around 54% of out of school children, they are girls. So 54% out they are girls. So that will lead to gender inequality, and about 17% of children with functional difficulties and 16% are forced displaced, and this is according to this globally estimates number of crisis affected children adolescents report. So if we are talking about another report by this Education Can't Wait, that is ACW. So it is also the global United Nations Global Fund for Education. So it mainly highlighted that number of girls and boys, they are missing out of the quality education. So what might be the reasons? Reasons are armed conflict between the countries, and next one is forced displacement, and even climate induced disasters. Okay, so these are some important issues that we need to focus on them immediately. And around 119.6 million children, they were living in this crisis prone areas. So about 119.6 million people, okay, million children, they are mainly living in the crisis prone areas, and attending school, it is very, very difficult for them. And another 24.2 million people, they are in primary and as well as secondary schools, and they are achieving just minimum proficiency in mathematics and reading, but still affected by crisis and as well as need support. And the report also came up with a highlight that about 84% of the full out of school children, or 65.7 million, they are living in the areas with protracted crisis. So especially the children, they are mainly coming from countries like Afghanistan, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Mali, Nigeria, Somali, South Sudan, Pakistan, and as well as Yemen. So these are some important areas where we have 65.7 million of children, they are out of schools. And next one is even children who are present in the sub-Saharan Africa, they are also hit by this learning crisis. And next one is the gross enrollment ratio. The gross enrollment ratio at the secondary level of education, especially for these refugees on this ground, that is 2019 to 2020, there were about 34%. And next one is the global crisis, which has been exacerbated by prolonged COVID-19 closure, okay, closing of the schools because of this COVID-19 and even Russia war impact. So these are some important things which are mainly said in this article, and please try to make a note of these topics. And now let us try to see next topic. Title says Indian economy to grow by 7.7 to 7.8% in financial year 2023 despite global headwinds, experts. So actually I collected this article from Indian Express. So this article is important from your economy point of view. So actually this article says that experts, they are saying that, so even though there are a number of headwinds that are present in the Indian economy, yes, India is going to grow by 7 to 7.8% in financial year 2023. So now let us try to see analysis of this expert. So why they are saying that India which is going to grow about 7 to 7.8% in this financial year 2023. So if you are talking about Indian economy, so Indian economy that has a potential to grow from 7 to 7.8% this fiscal on the back of better agriculture protection and even revitalized rural economy amid good headwinds, global headwinds, mainly because of ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. So yes, we know that because of this Russia-Ukraine war, that mainly had some negative impacts on almost all the economies of the countries like this COVID-19 pandemic. So even though there are headwinds that are present globally due to this Russia-Ukraine crisis, so here experts, they are mainly saying that yes, India has potential to grow by 7 to 7.8%. So if you are talking about details, it mainly says that because of better agriculture production. So because whenever there is a good agriculture production, as you all know, so India's rural economy which is mainly depend on this agriculture. So whenever they are getting this good food production or food produce, means what happened, that will revitalize. Okay, that will revitalize this rural economy, and India should touch about 7% of the growth this current years here despite of this global headwinds. So if you see here, actually you know that yes, we are mainly doing good in agriculture economy, and because of this good agriculture economy, that will have some impact on the social life of the people. And even you know that due to this coronavirus imposed lockdown, so many people who started working in this cities as laborers or migrant workers, they started move towards their villages, and they enrolled in this MG Narega scheme, and even they started doing agriculture. So here because of this, we are mainly expecting that there will be increasing of agriculture production and even grains export from India. So if we are talking about some important facts here, it mainly says that, so World Bank has cut India's economic growth forecast, that is current fiscal, to 7.5%. So reasons here is there might be increasing of inflation and even supply chain disruptions because of this Russia-Ukraine crisis and as well as COVID-19 pandemic, and even global tensions are also taper recovery. So India's economy which mainly grew by 8.7% in the last fiscal, that is 2021 to 2022 against 6.6% of a contraction previous year. So because of this, we are mainly expecting that the economy or the GDP mainly going to achieve 7 to 7.8%. So this is about this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. We are going to talk about this BRICS. So BRICS supports dialogue between Russia, Ukraine. So this article which is mainly talking about this BRICS summit. So in this BRICS summit recently, our Prime Minister, he participated and he made some statements. So we are going to see that, and even we need to know about some facts regarding this BRICS. So that might become important from your prelims. So this article is important from your international relations, which mainly comes under your GS paper 2. So now let us try to see these topics in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that here blaming the selfish actions by Western countries for economic crisis due to the sanctions. So what happened? Russia which mainly invaded Ukraine. Now these Western countries, they impose sanctions on this Russia. So this is the thing which mainly said by this Putin. So here he said that we need to strengthen this BRICS, that is Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. So if we talk about details, it mainly says that our Prime Minister and even other leaders, they discussed about the situation in Ukraine and as well as Afghanistan. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi and even other leaders who participated in this BRICS summit, so they mainly discussed about the situation in this Ukraine and as well as Afghanistan. So Afghanistan recently hit by this earthquake. In yesterday's session we studied that, and it is mainly focusing on humanitarian aid and help from the nearby countries. And in this context, our Prime Minister, he mainly focused about importance of the BRICS in this post-pandemic global economic recovery. And he also focused that Chinese President Xi Jinping called upon the members to reject Cold War mentality and to oppose unilateral sanctions by US and as well as European Union, because China is also mainly facing some issues regarding this sanctions from this USA, right? And next one here is Mr. Modi and BRICS countries, they had a very similar view of governance of global economy, and also they held some practical cooperation in the number of areas, for example including this new development bank as well, right? And they also talked about COVID-19 Research and Development Center, and they also talked about some recognition and mutual cooperation between these pharmaceutical products including COVID-19 vaccines and as well as medicines. And if you are focusing on some important facts regarding this BRICS, so BRICS, it is a group which mainly composed of 5 countries, that is B for Brazil, R for Russia, I for India, C for China and S for South Africa. So why this BRICS is important? Because it mainly represents about 42% of population, and here this BRICS 5 countries, they contribute for 23% of this global GDP and 30% of territory and 18% of this global trade. So this is about importance of this BRICS. So this BRICS, this BRIC word acronym which mainly coined by economist, that is Jim O'Neill of Goldman Sachs in 2001. And later on this South Africa also joined, and that led to formation of this BRICS. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding turning point of for Ukraine and its women's rights. So this article is very important because it is mainly talking about Istanbul Convention. So you can get a question like recently Istanbul Convention seen in news, what it is related to. So in this way also you can expect a prelims based questions from this topic. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So this topic is important from your GS paper to under international relations, and here we are talking about rights of women, so we can also add this under our society point of view, society and as well as social issues. So if you see here why it is in news, so recently Ukrainian parliament which mainly passed a bill. So this bill which mainly says it is going to ratify Council of European Convention, and this Council of European Convention which mainly talks about preventing and combating violence against women and domestic violence. It is mainly talking about violence against women and as well as domestic violence. So this convention is commonly known as Istanbul Convention. So it is called as Istanbul Convention. So it is most far-reaching international treaty, and this treaty which mainly designed to legally binding standards on nationalist government of Europe, and they are mainly focusing on prevention, protection, prosecution of gender-based violence. So if we are talking about some facts regarding this Istanbul Convention, it is also called as Council of Europe Convention. It mainly focusing on preventing and combating violence against women and domestic violence. So this treaty is the world's first binding instrument, and it mainly focusing on preventing and as well as tackling violence against women, and it is one of the most comprehensive legal framework, and it mainly exists to tackle violence against women and girls. Okay, and it's also covering even domestic violence, it covers rape, it also covers sexual assault, female genital mutilation, etc. mutilation. These are some important things which are mainly included under this Council of Europe Convention. So when a government ratifies this convention, they are mainly legally bound to follow it. Yes, whenever they are ratifying, yes, they have to follow it legally. And this convention which mainly adopted by this Council of Europe Committee of Ministers in 2011. Okay, so this is mainly talking about violence against women, right? So now let us try to see this gender based violence. So the risk of women becoming victims of gender-based violence in Ukraine has increased immensely over course of Russia's 8-year war. So what happened? So in this Russia's war with Ukraine, yes, there are a large amount of incidents regarding this sexual violence, sexual abuse and rape against women. So actually there are a number of reports which are mainly saying that the beginning of this Russia's invasion in the late February 2022, so it mainly says that these Russian troops, they have been using rape and as well as sexual violence. They are mainly using this or the weapons of war. Okay, and they are mainly trying to control this civilians. So here this Russian authorities, they have denied alleged sexual abuse by their troops. Okay, but the truth is that women in Ukraine, they have been disproportionately affected by this war. So and now we can see there are number of tensions which are mainly continues to rise, and there is a risk of gender based violence that mainly highlighted in this report. Okay, and that mainly highlighted in this report. And next one here is there is a prompt implementation of this convention that would mainly help or that would mainly equip this Ukrainian authorities to deal with these atrocities. Okay, and to provide some confidence to seek the justice among the women who mainly had victims in this. And if you're talking about why we can go for this Istanbul Convention, so it will also helpful for European Union integration as well. So apart from being decisive step to fight against this gender-based violence, and even this adoption of this Istanbul Convention, which also helps Ukraine's European integration into this European Union. Okay, so not European Union, so it will be helpful for especially to help this Ukraine's European integration. So now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding problems that are mainly facing by these thermal power generators. So this topic is very important from your economy point of view, and now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So after once the class is done, so please see this PDF and please try to see this data once. So if you're talking about central theme, it mainly talks about, yes, here coal sector, which is mainly facing some high challenges now, high time challenges now. For example, there is increasing of international coal prices, and here cash which mainly is trapped this thermal power generators, and we are having a very limited stocks in this thermal powers. Okay, thermal power generation. Okay, generators. So now let us try to understand what are the problems here. So on June 10th here, India's power demand which mainly touched record high, that is 211 megawatts on June 10th. So even we are facing coal shortage, but here there is increasing of power demand which mainly increased. So in the last 2 months, what happened? Temperatures which had been very high. So because of this, the demand for this power which mainly breached 200 megawatts. Okay, 200 megawatts, the level of this several occasions. So what happened to bridge this gap of domestic supply of this coal and as well as increase the demand of this power and as well as power generation companies or GenCos. So here we mainly directed to use imported coal. So yes, there is a increase in the demand for this electricity and there is no proper supply of coal, means yes, it will be affecting the production of this electricity. So here government came up with a direction that yes, we can go for importing of coal for 10% of their requirement. And if you talk about facts here, yes, India is the second largest producer of coal, and the reserves that are mainly present in India that could last up to just 100 years. So despite that, year and year after, so there is shortage of coal supplies which mainly continues to be an issue. So what happened? Even though India is the second largest producer of coal, yes, we are facing some coal crisis. So power demand which mainly increased a lot. And what happened because of this here? What are the power which is mainly produced? That is not enough, and we are mainly going for increasing of power demand, but there is coal shortage. So until this financial year 2020, the domestic sources, they contributed about 90% of this power sector coal receipts, and the remaining will be filled by imports. But in this financial year 2022, the reliance on imports which mainly dwindled to 3.8%, which mainly built pressure on these domestic supplies. So under this financial year 2020, here domestic sources, they mainly contributed about 90% of this power sector coal receipts. Okay, but what happened in this financial year 2022? Here reliance on this imports which mainly dwindled to 3.8%. So notably, their share of imports too saw a decline of 60%. So here, because of this, what happened? We are facing some crisis. So because of this dip in imports, that can be attributed to the skyrocketing of price of coal in the international markets. So what happened? So there is high price of this coal that is seen in the international markets. So how much amount of high prices? That is about 5 to 6 times, which is higher than the domestic supply. So because of this, whenever there is increasing of cost for raw materials, automatically the final product will be cost high, right? So because of this, here we are expecting that there will be rise of power prices, okay, to this discom companies. And even whenever they are getting high price, and even these discom companies, whenever they want to transport this power, it will be also very much high. And according to this 2019-20 report by Power Finance Corporation, discoms had accumulated losses up to rupees 5.07 lakh crore rupees. Okay, especially here Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, they are mostly financially stressed. So this is about this topic. And now let us try to see yesterday's questions. So first question is regarding Vaishnav Bhakti movement in Bengal. So first statement here is, so Vaishnav Bhakti movement in Bengal was different from that of South and North India. Second one is Vaishnav Bhakti movement in Bengal was influenced by Bhagavata Purana and as well as Sahajiya. Okay, so here you have to identify incorrect. So actually these two statements are correct. So correct option will be neither 1 nor 2. And next question, it is regarding monotheistic movement. So consider the following statements regarding monotheistic movement of medieval India. So first statement here is monotheistic led a vigorous ideological assault on caste system and idolatry. Yes. Next one is monotheist saints were aesthetics, but they led worldly life and they also had married. So you can eliminate this second statement. So that option will be 1 and 3 only. So in this way you can use this elimination technique to clear your prelims. And today's questions are, the first one is regarding Ramanujacharya. So recently Ramanujacharya question which mainly appeared in this 2022 prelims also. Okay, that is regarding the statue. Okay, statue. Next one here is Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So these are the two questions for the practice, and try to give me the answer regarding these topics in the comment box. Don't forget about this homework. And I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod Science, we came up with this foundational course for this UPSC CSC IAS 2023 to 2024, and the validity of this course here is 2 years of course, and we are providing more than 600 hours of video classes, such that this will be very helpful. And the classes, they are mainly dealt by this expert faculty. I think today might be one lecture of mine that is going to be released in YouTube, that is regarding ethics, that is regarding chapter 6. So here, if you watch that lecture, then you can get a clarity like how the classes will be going on. As you all know, ethics will be very important, and if you are getting good marks in ethics, essay and optionals, then your chance of clearing this UPSC will be high. So please try to join a good course for ethics, and you can see the video that will be going to upload it, I think by today night or by tomorrow morning, so that you will be getting clarity regarding this ethics, and you will be getting clarity right how to read this ethics. Okay, so here you can watch the demo videos, and the demo videos will also be available on YouTube, on our Rathod's IAS Academy website, and even some videos had been released in YouTube like polity and international relations. And you can watch this current affairs classes of weekly economy of Sarvan sir. He is mainly dealing with this basic foundation of this economy course. Okay, so in this way this course is very useful, and try to join these courses. Okay, so if you visit our website, there you can see that there is one option will be there, that is play course, and if you click on that, you can watch 3 demo videos without paying a single penny. And even the mains answer writing registrations are going on, so if you want to join, you can join that course as well. Okay, so the details of this course are given in description box, and please try to visit our website once. And if you have any doubts, so please call me on this number 8074765513. Okay, so now let us try to see today's Hindu PDF. So this is our today's Hindu PDF. Even though I discussed articles from Down to Earth, Indian Express and All India Radio, so I will be showing you the Hindu PDF, such that you will be getting clarity like so where we pick those articles. Okay, so the first article, it is regarding BRICS support dialogue between Russia and Ukraine. I discussed this topic. And if you move forward in this city page, I found one article which is relevant, that is groundwater project. Okay, groundwater project showing results. So actually what happened, especially they came up with this groundwater recharge. So actually there is a decreasing of groundwater table. So they came up with this groundwater project, and they found that there is increasing of the water level, that is 0.5 to 2 meters in the groundwater. Okay, so the aim of this project is to divert the water to the pond so that it would percolate, and as well as recharging of this groundwater. They are mainly focusing on recharging of this groundwater under this project. And if you move forward in this page, I didn't find anything important. Here also nothing important. And directly you can move on to this editorial page. In this editorial page, most of the editorials I saw, they are mostly political articles. So I discussed about this Ukraine and this women's right. I discussed about this Istanbul Convention here. And if you move forward here, you can see about this scheme, that is Agnipath. And regarding this Agnipath, I had a detailed discussion. So please try to revise the topic once. And if you move forward here, you can see about the problems of this thermal power generators. I discussed this topic. And if you see in this text and context, yesterday we discussed about Pakistan, which is mainly going towards IMF to get some funds. So here if you see why Pakistan is just mainly going towards this IMF, because so Pakistan's foreign exchange reserves, they had been depleting. Okay, so because of this, it is mainly reaching this IMF to get some funds and to get some aid, mainly to come out of this balance of payment crisis. And as well as IMF, it is mainly willing to support, but it wants Pakistan to address high inflation and elevated fiscal and as well as current account deficit here. Yes, to giving of funds, they will be not giving simply, right? So they will be keeping some conditions. And as far as Pakistan's economic and energy situation is serious, that demands bold decisions, and the situation will worsen in the short term before it gets better. Okay, so these are things which are given in this article. And if you move forward in this news page, there is nothing much important. And in this 13th page also, there is nothing much important. And here in this 14th page, you can see India is central to Australia's worldview. This article will be important from your international relations. And next one here is pets will have to wait for COVID-19 jabs. This article which is mainly talking about one important vaccine for animals, that is Monkeypox. ANCOVAX, Monkeypox vaccine. Okay, it is inactivated SARS coronavirus 2 Delta COVID-19 vaccine, and it is mainly going to produce immunity against this Delta variants and as well as Omicron variants of this SARS coronavirus. And if you move forward in this world page, I didn't found much important, but here you can read this article, India which is mainly promises Sri Lanka fullest support. You can refer that once if you have enough time. And next one is in this business page, the government said to aim to keep this deficit at 6.7%. It is talking about this fiscal deficit. And I discussed about this NASCOM report of artificial intelligence. So these are some important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. So by this I am concluding. If there are any suggestions that you want to give, so please give me your suggestions in the comment box. So by this I am concluding. Thank you so much.